Okay, I'm excited. Now we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of breastfeeding. So I'm using this chair, but we're also gonna imagine you when you're in the hospital. So we're gonna practice the different holds and kind of get you comfortable with it. So here is my baby, Devin, and I'm going to talk a little bit about infant reflexes. So when babies are born, I talked about the areolas getting bigger and darker and the Montgomery gland secreting a fluid that smells like the amniotic fluid. So when a baby's born, technically they should be able to find the breast on their own. The way they can do that is reflexes. So babies have a step reflex. If you were to hold them up, they walk. If you touch their cheek, they turn. If you ever wonder what this little ridge is under your nose, if you touch that, they open. And one of them is if you touch the back of the head, they pull back. So I'm going to teach you how to nurse, and you're going to support the baby by holding the base of the neck. So we're going to practice both holds, but in the hospital, you're probably going to use the football hold more. What I recommend, if possible, is get yourself a breastfeeding pillow. So my favorite is my Breast Friend. And the reason why I love it is it builds a pillow table. And that's what you need to do. You don't have to have a Breast Friend, but it just makes it so much easier to build a pillow table because I want you to bring the baby to you, not you to the baby. And you'll be able to see the difference. So even with the Breast Friend, I just grabbed a normal chair that I had laying around, but it's kind of deep. So if I was to sit all the way back, obviously this doesn't look very comfortable. So I'm just gonna grab a pillow, extra pillow, shove it behind my back. This is the most important. You're going to set everything up before you have the baby, just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm kind of nice and comfortable, and I'm gonna decide which position I'm gonna breastfeed. So there's really only two positions. The football hold is when the baby is off to the side, and the cradle hold, which is also nursing laying down, is where the baby's in front of you. So the first few days, especially since you're going to be in a reclined hospital bed, you're going to be most likely feeding in the football hold. So if you do get a breastfeeding pillow, you're going to take it with you to the hospital. And once the baby's born, you're going to have the golden hour. Babies are awake for about an hour and then they really want to sleep because they're tired and you're going to be tired. So the golden hour, they kick everybody out and they put the baby on the breast right after the baby's born. So if you bring your pillow, hey babe, give me my pillow. Make sure you're nice and comfy, even if you're reclined. And the football hold, we're gonna turn the Breast Friend to the side. Okay, football hold, why do they call it the football hold? I think it's because the Heisman Trophy is something like this holding a football, but that's why they call it the football hold. It's basically when the baby's off to the side. So in terms of positioning facilitates latch. So if you're in good position, you're gonna have a good latch most of the time. So I'm nice and comfortable. I'm gonna put the baby in the football hold. And how do you know where to put the baby in the best position? So, general rule is nose to nipple. So in the football hold, the baby is going to be looking at you. So we're going to compress the breast to align with the baby's mouth in the position that they're in. So in the football hold, the baby looking at you, their mouth is this way. So we're going to compress the breast like a sandwich. So positioning, baby off to the side. For 3 months, they have no control over their arms. So that's why we'll talk about swaddling and why it works so well, because during their sleep cycles, they have no control over their arms and they'll hit themselves in the face and wake themselves up. So these arms, you can either tuck it underneath or here, whatever seems more comfortable for your baby. So general rule, nose to nipple. So I've got my baby. I'm gonna place his nose right at my nipple and we're good to go. The reflex that I described before, the step reflex, if anything is touching the baby's feet, they can lunge. So if the baby seems uncomfortable, just make sure that there's nothing touching the baby's feet. And again, make sure you're not grabbing the baby by the back of the head, that you're holding them at the base of the neck, because that is another reflex for them to pull back. So, nose to nipple, baby's looking at me. Hi, Devin, you ready to breastfeed? So his mouth is this way. So in the football hold, I'm gonna compress the breast like a sandwich. So just imagine if you had a big sandwich, you're not gonna politely bite your way through it. You're gonna grab it and squeeze it to get the most amount of the sandwich in your mouth. That's what we're doing with the breast. So football hold, you're gonna compress the breast like a sandwich, nose to nipple. Now we're gonna use the reflexes. You're gonna tickle this little area with the tip of your nipple. Baby will automatically open his mouth and then you bring him on. Sounds pretty easy, right? Great. Now we're gonna talk about the difference between the football hold and the cradle hold, just so you can see. So once you've mastered this, you're gonna sound great. And guess what? You're gonna go home and you're gonna wanna feed the baby in front in the cradle hold, and you're gonna compress the breast the same way. But as you can see, now the baby's mouth is up and down. So the biggest difference is the latch is different, football hold, cradle hold. In this hold, because the baby's mouth is up and down, you need to compress the breast like a taco. So football hold, sandwich, cradle hold, this is also nursing laying down. You compress the breast like a taco. Sandwich, taco. You cannot believe how many problems that will prevent. So, general rules, nose to nipple, compress the breast like a sandwich, tickle the baby's lips, baby opens, bring the baby on. Okay. I'm not that comfortable. So you know what? I'm gonna grab a little towel and I'm gonna put it under the baby's head right here. Because I want you to be comfortable. So now he's feeding. What do? Oxytocin is a painkiller, the equivalent of morphine. So it's the same hormone you get when you get a massage. I've never stopped a massage. I'm always mad I didn't get the 90-minute. So he's gonna wanna be here 24 hours a day. So I'm gonna be politely annoying. And the best way to do that is the milk pump. So you're gonna move his arm. You can kind of tickle his ears. Be politely annoying. I don't want him to be here 24 hours a day, because if he had the choice, he would. So, the milk pump. Pump that arm, be politely annoying. And to recap, before the milk increases in volume, when you're in stage 1 of lactation, just the colostrum phase, we're gonna feed for 15 minutes, and then we're gonna switch and do the other side, 15 minutes. Sandwich. You basically recreate it and you're done. So say it's 3 p.m. You have to breastfeed again 3 hours from the start of the last feed. So the next feed would be 6 p.m. So that's why I don't want him here for 2 hours, because you do need time to eat and shower and all the basic things. So you're gonna time it 15 minutes, 15 minutes. So positioning facilitates latch. Get yourself nice and comfortable and ready before you grab your baby. Then Position the baby. Make sure that you use anything that you have to make the baby comfortable and you comfortable, and be politely annoying. So definitely move the baby's arm, tickle the ear. And another trick is you can shoot milk into the baby's mouth by doing breast compressions. So feel free to grab the breast. Grab and squeeze, kind of like you're squeezing a lemon. Grab and squeeze and hold. Grab and squeeze and hold, grab and squeeze and hold, in addition to the milk pump, because I want you to feed and be done, because you have to do this 8 times a day. I want to make it efficient. When the baby's, underweight or young and tired, they're also born nocturnal. They want to stay for a long period of time, and it starts out very difficult. But by the time the baby is 2-3 months old, you're gonna feed 5 minutes, 2 minutes, done. So it's gonna get a lot faster. So now we're gonna talk about supplementing on the breast.